All right, you bunch of yahoos, strap yourselves in for another episode of Dan and Don's Toxic Masculinity.
In other words, shut up, sit up, and pay attention. Welcome back to another episode of Toxic Masculinity. Here is truly here, Dan B. Severn, and with my cohort, the fiercest competitor in the world, Don the Predator Frye. He is back down in the Sierra Vista area, and I'm coming from you from Howell, Michigan, here right now, from my summer property. And our special guest here tonight is from someone that that Don Frye actually have, and I both have had some healing type of experience from. The CEO of BioXcellerator, we have Mr. Eric Stoffers in the house here this evening. So we'll be talking about stem cells. We'll be talking about his career. We'll be talking about things what he did prior to it, what he's doing now, and maybe what the future may hold for stem cells and other projects in the works. Eric, obviously you had a life before BioXcellerator. What did you do prior to it?
I did the furthest thing from being in regenerative medicine and helping people because I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I'm a business guy. And so really the early part of my career, I cut my teeth, all the way through school and being in the restaurant business. But my first real professional career was in real estate. I did everything from being an agent to fixing and flipping homes, and then actually being the CEO of a real estate investment trust. So I would say the big bulk of my career was, in real estate before I transitioned into the medical space. And, what a pleasure it's been to be able to help people and make that transition.
Well, that's actually a pretty big 360 there to go from the real estate industry into the medical industry. That's, how long were you involved in the real estate first off? And do you still have like a real estate portfolio? Perhaps.
Yeah, for sure. I would say that a passion of mine is real estate. I have, being an entrepreneur, I have, somewhat of a little bit of a creative mind. So that allows me some creativity, especially when you're fixing and flipping houses. You get to kind of put your personal touches on it. But really, from starting my real estate career in early 2000 and then leading up into right around 2015, when I founded BioXcellerator, to give you some background on how I got into this, it was really, it wasn't like a dream of mine to get into the medical space, and certainly not the alternative and experimental medical space. But really, it was just a function of being at the right place at the right time, so to speak. I was the CEO of a real estate investment trust. I was helping some colleagues of mine sell a big property in Cabo San Lucas. It was a 300-hectare property that was an old kind of rundown, beat up resort property. And we were just getting crushed on getting terrible offers. And so what we did is as a strategy for marketing, instead of going to these big conglomerates like Starwood and the big hotel chains, what we did instead is we looked at the marketplace in close proximity to where we were, which was Arizona, California, looking at buyers to go into Mexico. And at that point, there was this term, medical tourism, that was extremely big in California and Arizona. And you guys know, you're Arizona guys. A lot of people go across the border, across from Yuma or somewhere close to get dental work or eyeglasses, or maybe some boobs and butts for the ladies. And that's very popular, and it was happening a lot. So I said, hey, let's market to some plastic surgeons and ophthalmologists and dentists. And this group of scientists came up and said, hey, we're really looking to take this incredible technology that we've discovered in the laboratory. We've tested it. We know it works. We know it's safe, but we need to apply it offshore. So we're looking in Mexico. And through that relationship, I became enamored in this science and found that there was a real deficiency in the marketplace. This was something that I needed to get to as many people as possible, because it really helps people. And that's why I started BioXcellerator.
I mean, well, if you know my best, do you have real estate that you own in Medellin area as well? That, like the whole of the property stuff like that, are these that you up there? And
so you're breaking up a little bit, but I think you're asking me about the real estate holding. So yeah, it's for me, it's mostly single family homes. I was operating a REIT that was Had some commercial property, but really it was single family homes. So that's my portfolio. I'll tell you, I lost a couple just like the rest of us in 2007. And I took a little bit of a beating back then, but after that, it was a really good opportunity, especially in Phoenix, to recapitalize and get into the market, because we were able to buy homes for, in some cases 60% under market, or under what you could build them for. So yeah, my holdings are all single family homes, but I want to get into a commercial property pretty soon, I think.
Okay, but what about Medellin? I mean, do you actually have additional real estate holdings down in Medellin? I mean, or is it just the BioXcellerator, or do you have other interests? Again, if I'm tending to pry, I'm a curious, George at heart. You can tell me, say, Dan, you're prying a little bit too much.
No, I love it. Yeah. Like I said, you were breaking up, so I didn't hear the part about Medellin. But yeah, we have real estate holdings. I have real estate holdings there. Actually, we're getting into a really cool hotel project that is going to complement our patient stay into more of a wellness vacation. So we have I am personally and in the business have real estate holdings in a hotel project and condo projects in Medellin, because the real estate market there is awesome. They don't have big booms and busts like we do here in the States. Theirs is a lot more steady, slow incline. But yeah, so to talk about this hotel project that I'm in love with right now, that I really just invested in, we, in Medellin, because of the violence back in the 80s and 90s, not a lot of these big hotel chains moved in to Medellin. They were, the Hiltons and the Ritz-Carltons of the world were not going into Medellin. That was not a good business decision back then. But because of that, now all the real estate is purchased. And so they're not, like, they always say, they're not making any more land. So getting into this hotel project, we are going to solve a couple of issues. One, having a very high-end place that Americans would not only feel safe, but comfortable in, because a lot of the zoning down there is, not necessarily as regulated as it is here in the US, meaning like for handicap patients, it's really tough to find a handicapped accessible bathroom, much less really good room with, enough area to turn your wheelchair, to put a Hoyer lift under the bed, to have a nice shower chair and bathroom setting. So we're building a bio hotel, which is going to be focused on health. So we're going to have things like hyperbaric chamber. We're going to have vitamin IVs that you can do at the hotel. It's going to have a really nice gym. It's going to be wheelchair and handicapped accessible. And so all the amenities that you would look for here in the US, plus a lot more that are health and biohacking related.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you right now, I was very impressed on the overall trip. The fact that by the time you arrive there, someone's there to pick you up. They take you to the hotel, and then you wonder, well, how far am I away from the clinic? No, you're basically you're at the clinic, because the hotel, you walk through basically, like a department store. You're in a shopping complex, and you just walk over, and boom, you're right there. It's like going. I kept thinking, what, you couldn't ask for a better setting, because you give people something to walk around, see, and do. In between what all the things that they're doing in the first place, you have all these cool little restaurants.
They had an ice cream store right outside the door of the hotel.
Well, okay, yeah, okay, Mr. Frye, how many times did you attack that ice cream place? Now,
every time I went by it, sir. Every time.
Yeah, I don't think he's exaggerating. There was a couple times I went and met him, and he had an ice cream.
Big old bowl.
Yeah, Don was saying he really enjoyed that place. But no, I just thought the settings that you guys have now, I'm thinking, and then you look at the improvement, I'm thinking, I can't even imagine what the improvement's going to look like, because I think you're really onto something there, especially having a place where they could stay longer. Hyperbaric chambers. I've been involved with the hyperbaric chamber for 20 plus years now. There's a lot of great things that come off of that hyperbaric chamber. And also another machine you might want to look into is it's called the EECP machine.
Yeah, you'll like that.
Yeah,
what is the EECP? Is that electro?
The initials EECP. Each letter stands for like 5-syllable word. I couldn't begin to, but if you look up EECP, that's something that's been a part like I said, of my training for 20 some odd years. But I even look at it now as dipping your toe into the fountain of youth of all the things that would do for you. So this ECP machine is right up your alley. What you're looking to do, and I'd be more than happy to talk with you even off the air about what it's done for people like myself. I mean, Don, have you ever been involved with the ECP machine as well?
Yeah,
Okay.
He hooked me up to it a few times. It's like a mask pants, the military anti-shock trousers, and you put them on, and it goes on with your heartbeat, and so boom, 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 boom. So it just keeps it flowing really heavy. So you have it two hearts.
As soon as your heart beats, the blood goes out, and then there's a heart monitor on there, and then as soon as it goes in a relaxing phase, you have a sequence of three sequences of cuffs that are on your calves, cuffs are on your lower upper thighs, and then lower abdominal region. It just goes squish, 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 squish. It's known as a shearing factor, so that it pushes blood back and forth. And just some of the things that you'll see online is how, as one gets older, their blood vessels start to narrow. Well, this actually is proven to widen them right back on up again, but also clears off plaque and things of debris that starts to line up along your arterial walls. But then also, if you've had blockage, it has proven even to build additional arteries around 100% blockage. So again, I can't speak enough good things about it, but there's some things I would like to talk to you about, because when it comes to the actual wellness portion, I look at it as that will be the gym of the future. Because I just, Eric, how lazy are most people that they won't go to the gym?
Yeah, extremely. I mean, people ask me all the time about, the technology that we're producing, but then they say, okay, what about health? Like, what is your recommendation on health, or specifically longevity? And with all of it, it's just getting your ass off of the couch and getting to the gym in most cases, and then what you're shoveling in your mouth. That's the easiest solution. Right. So people are usually super lazy about it.
Well, these pants, they are so enjoyable. It's like a great Saturday night. They replace, they replace your wife every way except for the cooking and the bitching.
I didn't know if that's where you're going, but in my mind, I was thinking, man, I'm getting relationship advice right now. Just get these pants, and I'm going to be
that's
a happy
You're happy. You are happy. Eric, where are you? I'm still in bed.
Dan, no, you're right about the facility, though. I mean, that was very intentional. We wanted to make sure that for our medical tourism patients, and most of our patients are not from Colombia, they're coming from the United States or Australia or Europe, all around the world. But for the non-adventurous patients, and I don't put you guys in that category, you were out touring the town and you see that it's safe and it's beautiful. But for the guys and gals that don't want to be adventurous, they never have to leave the roof. They're in the hotel, they don't leave the roof. They're in a beautiful mall, they don't leave the roof. They're in our clinic. And so that was very intentional, but thanks for noticing.
Yeah, no, again, it's not just a shopping plaza. I mean, it's a 3-level shopping plaza. I mean, they've got all kinds of cool things to see on each different level. So I walked all over that place just to take it all in. It's really very unique.
Coach McMahon, had pushed me in a wheelchair, from the hotel to the treatment center, and I mean, hell, it's like a quarter mile, I guess. I don't know. It's a big mall, and then I got the IV, and boom, I didn't have to get back in that chair. I went out and walked around for 2 hours, and it's the first time I'd done that in over a decade. And then the next day, same thing, hit me in the other arm of the IV. I went out and walked for 2 hours. It was like, I just, it was the most fun I had in, like I said, 13 years, just walking.
Yeah, the malls they're not going away like they are here in the United States. The Latin culture, and specifically in Colombia, they love their malls, and so there's a lot of hustle and bustle. People go there to walk their dogs or do yoga and have church service. So
a lot of dogs, a lot of women dressed like models. They get all prettied up, and strut around the mall. It's just nice. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was really cool to see you jumping out of that wheelchair.
Have you taken any of the treatment yourself then, Eric?
Yeah, I have. I'm a relatively healthy guy, so I've really only done what we would call a rejuvenation treatment, which is the general IV. So it's a systemic IV,
Okay.
just a simple needle poke, and just getting like any other vitamin IV, and it's with high doses of stem cells. So yeah, I've had a couple of treatments. I'm lucky to be in the space and have access to it. But there have been some medicinal benefits for me overall, even though I was a healthy guy. So
Well, okay, talking about like people like Don Fry and myself, who are a little bit more that aging warrior. How often, if you get one treatment, how often would you say a person should be coming right back in to get a second treatment or a third treatment, or I should say, ongoing health? Because I mean, it's Don knows this, but I don't know if you know this. My goal is to live to be 125, and at 125, to have my life being taken tragically and suddenly by a jealous husband. Now, again, it's my world, it's my dream. So again, now of course she'll be a much younger woman. She'll be in her 90s, but it's
Yeah, that guy's gonna need help pulling the trigger,
I love it. Well, look, we all have to have goals. I think yours are up there with some of the best. So no, but look, the patients that we have that are educating themselves, and in a lot of cases, they're not listening to what their traditional medicine doctors are telling them, because a lot of times even the best physicians in the world are not experts in stem cell. So, not listening to what they may or may not have to say about it. Some of them know about it, some of them don't. I mean, that's okay. It's fairly new for a lot of these great doctors. But so the point I'm getting at is, back to your question, is like, how often should you come in? We see a lot of these people that educate themselves, that have seen real good results, or even healthy people that are looking for longevity. They come back about once a year, depending on their age bracket and their health conditions. If they're not combating some major neurological condition or autoimmune disease, and they're relatively healthy and they're advancing in the years, yeah, once a year is probably pretty good. If they're younger, guys that are starting this in their 20s and 30s, and we have those people that come to us all the time, they're every couple years, maybe even every 5 years, if they're healthy. But we see a lot of high impact athletes like UFC fighters and National Football League, and every sport that you can think of, we've treated, and those guys are typically using their bodies for their career and need to be functioning at the highest level and recovering the quickest, and maybe suffering from an injury. So those guys typically come back several times a year. So it really depends on what type of individual we're talking about, but for a general, just a general timeline, once a year is great.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few different interviews with a lot of professional wrestlers, and Don will tell you firsthand. I mean, professional wrestling, he probably got more beat up in that industry than the cage fight, because it's a show. It's a lot of athleticism, but to be picked up and be bodily slammed over and over again, night after night, I mean, that does take a toll on his body, and that's where we see a lot of professional wrestlers that they don't live that long, because they start getting hooked on painkillers and then muscle relaxers, anything to put them to sleep at night, something to get them up and get them going in the morning. So
if I was to put in a category of our most injured athletes, and again, we see them all. We see football players in the NFL, current and former. We see guys like you that are world champion mixed martial artists in the UFC or whatever promotion, or all of them. And the worst and the most beat up are typically the WWE and the AEW wrestlers. Diamond Dallas Page said it best, and he said it in one of our testimonials. And he might have been with Kevin Nash. I think it was both. But they said it's like getting in a car accident 5 times a week, not just once a year, not just once a week, not just 5 times, sometimes at night, and they have to do that 5 times a week. So their bodies are crazy beat up.
Yeah. Actually, I was just going to bring up his name there, but you kind of beat me to the punch on that one.
Sorry.
I've been on several different occasions, and he's got. I mean, just what he does, even with his own, health benefits, because he's made up his what was it for men? He does his yoga program for men, and so which a lot of men probably wouldn't have been caught doing the yoga, but he came up with a pretty unique program there. But the fact that he went down to Medellin and went through the BioXcellerator process there as well. So he there's a lot of wrestlers that look up to him because he started things that a little bit later in life than what most professional wrestlers do, and he did well for himself. So, but he does like all that crash bang boom. It does take a toll on the body.
Yeah, it's incredible. He's definitely been an advocate for us. But one of the things you started touching on earlier when you were talking about the EECP, which, by the way, I'd love to talk to you about that. But what I'm getting at is the alternatives that we do, like hyperbaric chamber. You guys saw that you were in our hyperbaric chamber. We do bioregulatory medication and orthomolecular medication, ozone therapy, cryotherapy. We believe in all these other alternatives. And getting back to DDP, the method that he has of with his yoga and getting into the right mental state is also super important to the healing process. So stem cells for us is a major component, but it's just a piece of the puzzle.
Oh, it is, but you even touched on to it earlier there that using your body and your mind on a daily basis. Well, the United States is a very sedentary country. We sit a lot. I think because people always say that especially like the last couple of years with COVID, a lot of the gym industry was shut down, and I go Americans are lazy. I said most people have to get over that fear of just pulling themselves together to go to the gym. And when they want to go, again, women are a whole lot different. Their outfit has to match this. Are their fingernails done? Are their hair done? Something. Guys could care less. They'll put on almost anything. They pick up their shirt, they'll smell it. Okay, if it doesn't reek too bad, we'll wear that shirt for the day. But it's totally different about how they approach it. But to me, you still have to get that gumption up to go to the gym. Whereas when you roll out of bed, what did that floor cost you? You could do push-ups, you could do sit-ups, you could do squats. There's all kinds of exercise that you could do with just simply your own body weight. And that's what I was always big. I try to promote to people, especially during that whole lockdown period of time when people couldn't get to gyms. I go grab a couple cans of beans. There you go. You got a set of dumbbells right now. You'd be surprised what you can do when you start jogging in place and just start punching to the air. I go, it's both cardiovascular and muscular endurance all at the same time. But you got to have a little bit of creativity.
Yeah, exactly. I was literally just having this conversation today. I got out of a meeting earlier, and I kind of went, I winced. I'm being a big baby, but because my legs are just super sore because I worked out. But I didn't do a bunch of squats and big heavy weight. My buddy Joey gets me in, and he trains he is really good friends with a lot of mixed martial artists and professional athletes, but Chris Cyborg specifically. And I know he communicates with Don a lot, but he does 500 lunges. That's his leg workout, 500 lunges and some air squats. So I tried to get to that. I didn't even come close, but I am super sore. No weight at all, zero.
Yeah, no, again, the Japanese are really big into doing just a lot of squats and things of that nature. We just use their body weight, but they're always picking up that crazy number, 500 to 1,000. Like going, yeah, if you haven't done that, and all of a sudden you try to do 500 to 1,000, the next morning, your legs are going to be screaming at you. I can guarantee you. That's shock and trauma all at the same time. Wow.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to see that Don is in a place where he might start doing that 500 lunge workout of Joe's pretty soon.
Have to get somebody to sit in there count for me,
that new math, right?
That's right.
That new math, yeah. 10, 20, yeah. Come on, my tens. Oh.
Shit, but I'll tell you what, partner. I had so much fun riding my horse the other day, and I was riding with my daughter's boyfriend. He had her horse, and I had my horse, and I had him film a little snippet for you. So we're gonna try and get it sent to you.
I actually, it got circulated a little bit, and I saw and I heard that you were on your horse again. And I remember that, when you were down in Colombia, that was one of the three things that you really wanted to accomplish with getting stem cell.
Yeah.
And I see the other is with your little dog there,
Yeah.
your bulldog. So
yeah, play with
two
her.
out of three right now.
Yeah, exactly. So, I'm happy, but I'm not gonna rest on that. And I'm looking forward to get back into the, training. So looking
Well,
forward
we
to that.
were talking about it before I think we got on, but you wanted, your three goals, because we ask a lot of people, what are your expectations? Because stem cells, they can be a miracle, and they have been for a lot of people. But it's a medical treatment, and it's not 100% for everybody, and it depends on how severe or advanced your condition is, and you are at the most elite level possible, and so your condition was pretty severe. But we were asking your expectations, right? You're like, I want to get on my horse, I want to be able to play with my dog, and the third was what? Get in the cage again?
Train, yeah.
Train.
And then make a decision.
How far out are you from the treatment? How many months ago was that?
Hell, it was October. It was the first week of October we did it. So
yeah, Don is actually just like 1 week over me. He's literally by the 25th of, well, no, he hit his 7th month mark already.
Right.
So from everything that I've I questioned the doctors a great deal. So because again, what you said there earlier, Eric, everyone's gonna be a little bit differently, but they said as a general rule, there's that magical sweet spot between that 6 and 9 month period of time when you should see most of the benefits, because they said about every 20 some odd days that these stem cells are duplicating themselves. But they said between that 6 and 9 month range, all the way up to the first year, by the end of that first year, whatever you kind of receive, you kind of, that's kind of where you're going to tap out at. So
I've had, again, I'm not a doctor, but I have contacts with patients a lot, like you guys. And, we've had patients that have called us, or, we have a pretty strict follow-up process also. So we're calling people at 1 month and 3 months and 6 months. And, at the 3 month mark, people were going, I don't really see anything. At the 6 month mark, gosh, Eric, I'm not really feeling anything. This is starting to really worry me. It's a lot of money. It's a big investment, and then at the 7, 8 month mark, nothing. And I'm thinking of a guy named Randy Zink, who was in a terrible car accident. He couldn't work anymore. His life was, essentially falling apart. His marriage was falling apart. And he was calling me at the 8 and 9 month mark going, hey, what's going on here? And then at like 9 months, 9.5 months, he called and said, finally, I'm able to walk upright. And then at 10 months, it was like, hey, the pain is like a 10 to a 2. And hey, now I'm back at work. And so they do take a long time. It's different for everybody, Dan. You're right about that. Sometimes, unfortunately, we need to get you back in and get you another dose.
Yeah, well.
No, again, that's what. Go ahead there, Don. Sorry.
All right, thanks. Yeah, I cut my pain pill medication down dramatically. Hell, I think I was taking 4 milligrams, immediate release, and then 1 8 milligram extended release. Done with the 8, and got rid of one of the 4s too. So I'm down to just three a day.
That's incredible success. I mean, think about the complications that those high doses of medications over time do to you. So reducing that is also probably, in a lot of ways, extending your life. Certainly doing a good job at extending your liver function.
Yeah. Well, again, I'll get this two phases right there, Eric. Because I always tell people, when someone finally passes away, I always say, go to their medicine cabinet and count how many different prescriptions that they are on already, or look at their nightstand. It's incredible how many different prescriptions a person will be on at the end of their life. And to me, I sometimes wonder, did they die of natural causes? Did they die of a calculations on their own medicines, and they might have doubled down or tripled down because their mind's not quite as sharp as it once was? So it's kind of sad, but that's sort of the American way. Not exactly what I call the right way, but it's the American way. It's like, here, I have a headache. take this tablet. Might cause blurred vision, might cause diarrhea, but that's okay. We've got 2 more pills that will take care of the blurred vision and the diarrhea that causes other problems. So sometimes I think you're okay with just one condition versus the 2, 3, 4 other things that it might bring to you.
100%. I noticed that, and you said very specifically that it's the American way, and that's true because I
Yes.
travel a lot, but I see these other cultures and these other medical systems that are not put together the same way the American medical system is. Doctors in Colombia do not prescribe drugs and surgery first. That's a last line of defense. First, they want to get to the systemic root of the problem. So they're not just writing you a script and putting you under the knife. They're really spending some time with you to get to the root of the problem. And that's really what I hope the American medical system starts transitioning closer to again. We've lost that in a bad way.
Thank you for watching another episode of Dan and Don's Toxic Masculinity. You better like, subscribe, and share, or I'm going to come to your house.